I did a whole episode of this, my very first one at the Stratosphere last week, and so much of the footage ended up not being usable at all. So today we're going to the Planet Hollywood. It's gonna be all in Vegas, episode 1. So we are here at the Planet Hollywood. So I did a whole video last week, and as soon as I got down to editing, it showed that I wasn't able to use any of the footage. But hey, all in Vegas episode 1 is going to be here at the Planet Hollywood. One of my more favorite casinos to play poker at, but definitely lively, and also a little bit different than what you're used to from a traditional poker room. So back when I first started playing poker, I did used to come here a whole bunch. So my stomping grounds were the MGM and here, Planet Hollywood. It's sort of different than your traditional poker room, whereas it's right in the middle of the pleasure pit. So there's a whole bunch of distractions. The music is extremely loud. There's girls dancing. So it's really easy to get distracted. And from me, in my opinion, it's also a really good place to catch people who are drinking a lot, just trying to have a good time, because the poker room is smack dab in the middle of the pleasure pit. However, when I first came here, they did move the poker room a couple times from around the corner of whatever bar that it's called over there, and then now it's sort of in the center of the pleasure pit. I highly recommend coming down here on a Friday or Saturday night, especially when it's busy or maybe a fight night or something like that, and there are a crap ton of people who are playing, just having fun, drinking, and having a good time at the poker room. Right behind me is Gordon Ramsay's burger spot. That's another place that I recommend. Great food, super good burgers, definitely worth it to do a date night over there, and relatively good prices. See, I'm local, so I think the strip can get a little bit pricey, but less than 20 bucks you can get a burger over there. Definitely a good meal. Check it out if you're down at the Planet Hollywood. It's right at the edge of the pleasure pit. So another thing, before you sit down at the poker table, make sure you go to the promotion center and get a total rewards card. This is good for all Caesars properties. You get comps and stuff like that. I don't know how much, I think it's $1 per hour for Planet Hollywood. If not, I'll post it right here. And yeah, make sure you get one of these before you sit down at a poker table. Planet Hollywood also spreads 2-3. So it spreads 1-2, 2-3, and 2-5. They also have daily tournaments that you can play. I think they have like an $80 daily tournament and all this other stuff. All right, guys, I'm about to go sit down. So today's game of choice is gonna be 1-2 no limit. You got a couple 1-2 no limit games going. I'm gonna hop on the list and sit down. Now remember, guys, I'm gonna play a minimum 1 hour session. I'm starting with a $2,000 bankroll. I'm buying in only for 100 big blinds, so I'm buying in for $200 this time. Let's see if I can run it up. Let's go down to the table and let's see how I do. Alright, so just to let you guys know, I wasn't able to position my phone camera really well in the very beginning of the session. So all the way up until the mid-session update is when the camera angle is wrong, but I was able to fix it in the second half. The first hand that I'm going to be reviewing is actually our all-in hand of the session. So let's get to it. So you can't see the other card in the picture, but it's also another jack. An early player position limps. The player next to act raises it up to $7. The cutoff calls, and I'm in the small blind with pocket jacks. I decide to raise here, so I choose to raise it to $21. The player in the big blind decides to cold call. This player just sat down on the table, so I have no reads on him, so I'm not too sure what cold calling range I could be putting him on. The early limper folds, the initial raiser calls, and the cutoff folds. So we're 3 ways to the flop, which comes Jack 9-5 with 2 hearts. Smash this flop. We now have a set. There's lots of straight draws out there and flush draws out there. So I decided to do a slightly bigger than half c-bet of $45. I probably could have gotten away with more, but at the time with the dynamic, $45 was a bigger bet on the flop. The big blind snap calls and the initial raiser folds. At this point, I'm looking to shove all safe turn cards and reevaluate if a heart or an overcard comes. But the turn is a 4 of clubs. So as planned, I go all in for $128. The big blind takes no time at all and throws 1 calling chip in there. And the river comes a king of diamonds. I say set and I turn my cards over. The big blind looks down at his cards, looks at the board, and throws it away. So definitely a good hand to start the session, and also our all-in hand of the session. The under the gun player limps, and I'm next to act, and I look down at pocket queens. You can't see the other card again. I raise it up to $12. There's 1 middle position player who calls, and it folds around to the under the gun player who also calls. So there's 3 of us to a flop of Jack 8-4 with 2 clubs. The under the gun player checks, and I bet $22. The middle position player calls, and the under the gun player folds. So at this point, I'm looking at the size of Villain's stack, who only has about $52-ish left. The turn does come a 9 of clubs. So the front door flush came through, a whole bunch of straights are still there. Queen 10 came through, but I do block King 10. So there's about $83 in the center. The turn isn't the best card for us, and Villain has less than 2/3 of a pot-sized bet left. I've seen him in the past. He sat down in the very beginning with us when we started this brand new game, and I've seen him call off 3 streets with second pair. I've seen him pay off a lot of river value bets, and he just mucks. So I definitely don't want to check this turn card, because if he gets a free card with, let's say, the Ace X with the Ace of Clubs or King X with the King of Clubs, I don't want to give him an opportunity to get there on the river. I block a lot of the King Queen and Queen 10 holdings because I have pocket queens, so I'm blocking a lot of those that he can be calling with. But there's also a whole bunch of other cards like 7-8 combos or Ace-Jack holdings that he can still call with. So the decision is between betting or shoving. Let's say I bet $30 and he shoves, I'm never folding, it's only $22 more. Nonetheless, I decide to go ahead and shove for the full $52. If he has a flush and he has us beat, he has us beat. He just didn't have enough money behind for us to be able to get away from it. So he doesn't think for too long before he decides to call. So I assume I'm in trouble and I assume that I'm beat. The river is one of the worst cards to put out there. It's the king of clubs. So ace king just got there and river to king. All the single clubs got there, and it completes the unlikely queen 10 holdings that he could have. So I flip over queens, and the villain stares at his cards. He looks at his cards, he looks at the board. I say no clubs, and he mucks.
No club. Wow. Sick. Sick.
This is my mid-session update. When I went down to the front of the poker room, they started a brand new 1-2 table. So far, it's going fairly well. I was able to get, for some reason, I've been getting pocket queens like crazy today. So I got pocket queens a couple times. I went ahead and doubled up within the first 30 minutes. But nonetheless, I'm gonna go sit back down on the table. I think I got about an hour left. Hopefully I'll be able to run it up. Let's get it. So this hand happened closer to the end of the session, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get this one filmed. But this hand happened with the exact player that I stacked off with my queens, and he didn't have a flush. So under the gun player, who is that player, he limps for $2, folds around to the button, who calls. We are in the small blind with ace-7 of spades. So we complete the blind and the big blind checks. The flop comes 2-3-9 with 2 spades, which is a very good flop for us, all things considered. I check, the big blind checks, under the gun, that's $10. The button folds, I call, and the big blind folds. So off to a turn card, which comes the jack of spades. So we now have the best flush in the game. And I thought about betting, but wanted to give him an opportunity to continue on the turn. So I decide to check, and unfortunately he checks behind. The river is the king of diamonds, essentially a blank for us. And now I definitely have to put a bet in here. I was thinking about the sizing, and I thought that I could probably get a lot of worse hands to call with $20, so I bet $20. He calls, and we are good. All right, guys, this is gonna be the wrap-up of the session. I'm done, we're finished. Just walking out. Had a pretty good session. I probably played about, I think, close to 3 hours. It's about midnight right now. Today, the starting bankroll was $2,000. I played a 1-2 game. I bought in for $200, and I cashed out for $431. So that's right, we start off the vlog in the green. Super happy about that. I'm gonna take a $20 convenience fee, because you know what? I think I'm gonna meet my girlfriend after this, and we're going to go out. So why not get a quick C note? So I'm super excited to at least be positive, and I'm hoping that soon enough we can start getting this regularly, and I can get used to making these videos. So next week, I might do a local casino. If not, I might do another casino on the strip. Maybe I'm leaning towards either the MGM or the Red Rock Casino. But I had fun today, guys. As always, if you like what you see and you want to see more, go ahead, subscribe to my channel. Comment below if you want to know anything about me, or if you want to give me any suggestions, and thumbs up the video if you liked it. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.